Hello and welcome to Sepang. It is the rematch. It's Jorge Martin versus Pecco Bagnaia. 2 rounds remain, 4 races, 17 points. Why would you want to be watching any other sport this weekend than MotoGP? And we had a fascinating Friday morning that saw Pecco Bagnaia fastest. But there's more to it than that. For the first time this year, for the first time since the sprint format was introduced, Pecco Bagnaia used a brand new set of the softest option rear tyre at the end of that session to end 3/4 of a second quicker than anybody else, 1.6 seconds quicker than his title rival Jorge Martin. Were mind games at play? Was Pecco prepping for the sprint when he doesn't normally dedicate too much time to the sprint? He normally spends his time working for the Grand Prix on Sunday. Is that as a result of him knowing that he has to win both races this weekend? It was a change of tactics, a change of plan from what we've been accustomed to from the world champion, and it was certainly very, very interesting indeed. Let's see if we can grab a word with, who is that? It's a rather dapper-looking Jorge Martin in his swimming trunks. He's clearly just been in an ice bath. He's now jogging down towards the Aprilia box, rather interestingly. Not this year, Jorge. You've still got 2 rounds left in Prima Pramac colours before you end up going and wearing the black of Aprilia next year. Why don't we come down this way? This looks like an interesting sort of thing that we would like to keep one eye on. Why is Jorge Martin going into the Aprilia box? Probably to chat with his good friend Aleix Espargaro. That would make sense to me. Aleix's probably got himself a little bit of an ice bath himself, potentially behind this black little tarpaulin here. We can see manager of the duo, Albert Valera, and Jorge's girlfriend there as well. But certainly interesting nonetheless that Jorge's first port of call at this monumental weekend where he could win his first ever MotoGP World Championship is to come down to the Aprilia racing box. How interesting. I think he's chatting to Aleix Espargaro. He's laughing away. I think that's because they're both going to share the ice bath that I imagine is underneath that little black canopy there. Saw Antonio Jimenez just walking out, the crew chief to Aleix Espargaro. But in the end, Jorge didn't opt to run the softer option tyre, which is the medium this weekend, the medium, the hard, the 2 rear tyres on offer, meaning that the medium will be referred to as the softer option. Instead, doing all of his work on the hard, we expect to be the tyre that is used in the Grand Prix on Sunday, and we're still pretty quick. 7th overall, I believe it was in the end, 7.46. Let me just double check for you. I've got the results up here. I was scanning it beforehand, and then my attention has been diverted as a result of these shenanigans down here. It was 6 for Jorge Martin, and as we said, 1.6 seconds adrift of Pecco Bagnaia's 158.7. with the top 3 completed by Maverick Viñales and Marco Bezzecchi. Shout out as well, the maniac is back. Andrea Iannone, in his first MotoGP session in nearly 5 years, was inside the top 10. Unbelievable from the number 29. MotoGP bikes have changed so much. They are completely different to the last time he jumped on one with Aprilia back in 2019. He jumped on it, no problem whatsoever, straight into the top 10. Brilliant stuff from the maniac, who I'm sure everyone is looking forward to grabbing a word with throughout the course of the day, potentially later on this afternoon once the session is finished, to get his thoughts on how this first day back was. But still down here, listening in, I can hear a conversation happening between Aleix Espargaro and Jorge Martin. If we were really cheeky, I'd go and put the microphone there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to save that for our behind-the-scenes cameras for There Can Be Only One, our documentary, which of course season 3 will be coming your way at the end of the 2024 campaign. You can check it out in the early months of 2025. Our cameras have been busy working away, trying to catch lots of little golden nuggets, and I can assure you we've got a few. So it's well worth tuning in for that once it's officially released on MotoGP.com at the start of 2025, ahead of things kicking off at the opening weekend of March in Thailand. But the maths are simple for Jorge Martin, who we might not be able to get a chance to have a word with. So why don't we move on from this direction and see if we can find someone else to detail exactly how the opening session of the weekend went. As I say, maths simple, 17 points for Jorge Martin. The difference at the moment, if he's to be crowned world champion at the end of this weekend, he needs to have a 38-point advantage. So he needs to try and find an extra 21 points over Pecco Bagnaia to make sure that his name is going on that Tower of Champions, which he has looked at more than a few times, not only this year but last year as well, when they're in the heat of that World Championship battle. For Pecco Bagnaia, well, given the fact that he changed his tactics up and was out there working on a softer option tyre, potentially to get himself as ready as possible for tomorrow's sprint, where he, I think, realises he has to take points away from Jorge Martin, and then he has to go and do it again on Sunday. But as he's been telling you, things are a little bit more complicated for Pecco in the fact that he knows at this stage that 4 victories are not going to be enough. Because if Jorge Martin sits behind him, finishes second in all 4 of those Grand Prix, then Jorge Martin will be world champion. So he does need help. He needs the likes of Enea Bastianini, who yesterday was pretty adamant in the fact that, no, I won't be helping Pecco Bagnaia, not as a result of Ducati asking me to do so, whether by chance and whether just as a result of how the race plays out, he ends up taking away points from Jorge Martin. That's a different story. But he certainly, if Enea Bastianini is leading either tomorrow's sprint or Sunday's Grand Prix, and he given the P2 OK board from Ducati, the Italian will be ignoring that. He leaves Ducati at the end of the year. So why on earth would he want to try and help them to secure the World Championship? He's off to KTM. It's not his problem. So that's why Bagnaia needs to go out and win the race of his own account. He's not going to get any help from anywhere else, but he's hoping that he can get some assistance, not without asking for it, with the likes of Enea Bastianini, potentially Marc Marquez, potentially Pedro Acosta, thinking of the guys that have been up there challenging for the podium over the past 3, 4, 5 Grand Prix weekend, and it's pretty much those 5 can try and finish second and can try and get in between himself and Jorge and steal some points away from him. Let's see if that is going to be the case. We find ourselves outside Honda. No success at the moment, as often we see in this part of the world. As soon as the session finishes, the riders are straight into their offices to try and get a little bit of shelter from this sunshine, which is wreaking havoc on me. I'm trying my very best to this weather, this sunshine, tell you. To keep my eyes open. They are best. Here's you see Marco Bezzecchi, 3rd fastest this morning, fresh from his bath. Marco, very quickly, how was this morning? All good?
Yeah, very good. You?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. How was the ice bath?
Also very good. I feel cold.
What tactics have you used? Is it a bin? Is it a pool? What have you gone for the ice bath?
No, it's a bin. It's a bin because I'm poor, especially after the results of this year.
Well, we'll try upgrade you next. There we go. Let's start a GoFundMe page. Pool, a little paddling pool for him to try and up in at the end of every session. Pulling down. A word with Marco, always good fun and good start to the weekend for him. 3rd overall, whilst chasing Pecco Bagnaia, and we spoke about the tactics at play down here at the Ducati Lenovo squad, but we saw some from Jorge Martin as well when he, at around 15-20 kilometres an hour, going incredibly slow, he saw Pecco Bagnaia. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to pull in and follow him. As Fonzi Nieto walks past, let's see if Fonzi, very quickly, can I grab a word? How are you? All good?
Everything good.
Interesting session then. I'd like to get your thoughts on 2 things. Firstly, we saw Pecco and Jorge down the back straight, going incredibly slow. Gino was laughing, Davide was laughing. What was happening there?
It's normal. It's the end of the season. This is part of the game. But we both have to work on the pace for the race for sure. Jorge used very hard tires this morning, and Pecco used soft tires. For sure, it's better with soft tires. We'll see. We'll see.
We never see Pecco use a brand new set of soft tyres on a Friday morning?
Friday morning. We make mostly every race, but today we prefer no.
So why do you think Pecco did? To work on the sprint, knowing he has to win that?
He have to do something different, no? To try to catch Jorge. And for sure, he have to risk more than us.
Good luck this afternoon. There we go. We have to risk more than us. He has to do something different if he wants to try and catch Jorge. And that's exactly what he's doing. Interesting. The war of words continues between Prima Pramac Racing and the Ducati Lenovo team. They're all trying to get inside one another's minds, whether it's Jorge Martin just sitting behind the world champion, letting him know he's there, trying to put him off his game, and whether it's Bagnaia responding by being 1.6 seconds quicker than him and showing that he's got the pace over one lap for the sprint and for the Grand Prix. Very, very interesting indeed. I'm already, after one session, enjoying just how this is playing out, and we're hoping to grab a word there with Aleix Espargaro, but he has swanned off on his scooter and not giving me the opportunity to grab a word with him. I wonder where he's going there. It's out the circuit anyway, so if any of you fans out there at the final corner do see Aleix Espargaro on his scooter, tell him to come back ready for MotoGP practice later on. Right, with that, it's very hot. I'm going to see if Maverick Vinales walking out. There's his assistant Mirko, who, not to rub it in, but was playing football for the Aprilia team that we played last night, the penultimate game of the year, after a bad run of results where Aprilia were starting to get some momentum and did win 3 on the bounce. I'm glad to report that our Paddock All-Stars team have bounced back in style. Victory in Thailand, victory last night, 2-0, a clean sheet as well. Just like to give a shout out to all of our guys for fighting back. Maverick Vinales, Massimo Rivola, Manu Cachot, Mirko, his assistant, Riccardo Rossi they brought in as well to try and help them out, but it couldn't stop us from beating them. We're back to winning ways, which I'm glad to report. No goals for me this week, need to work on that, but I'm hoping to be firing by the time we get to the season finale for the big cup final. As we see, I'm being pointed in one direction. Aleix Espargaro potentially coming back, but it looks as though he's in a bit of a rush. He's chatting to Matteo Baiocco, and here comes Aleix. Let's see if we can get a speed gun on him here. He's absolutely flying on this scooter with the Crocs as well. No chance. I'm trying to stand in the way of Aleix Espargaro and trying to grab a word with him there, otherwise I will get clattered by that scooter, so we'll let him go. He's clearly lost. No idea what he's trying to get to or where he's trying to go, but anyway, fingers crossed Aleix Espargaro can find the destination that he's searching for. And with that, outside the box of the world champion, outside the box of the man fastest this morning, we wish you a fond farewell. Look forward to being with you this time tomorrow for another episode of Inside the Paddock, following on from qualifying. I imagine we're going to have plenty of drama unfold before we're next with you. 60 minutes of practice coming up, and then Q1 and Q2 tomorrow morning. When we're next with you, I'll bring you the story from all of it. Thank you very much. Enjoy the afternoon. And if you are on social media, get your support in for the two rivals. Hashtag the rematch, hashtag Vamos Jorge, hashtag Forza Pecco. Who are you cheering for? Let us know. Leave it in the comments. See you tomorrow.